Greetings, St. Paul's, and blessings on this Thursday, the feast of St. Barnabas, the Apostle. If we read in the book of Acts, St. Barnabas was a contemporaneous of Paul. He was sent out and commissioned by the apostles during the same time Paul was. And he's recognized as one who dedicated himself to helping the poor and needy in his community, as well as preaching the gospel. I find myself trying to think of ways in which we can continue to help the poor among us. For example, at St. Paul's, we continue through the efforts of our Archdeacon, Carolyn, to share in the food pantry service by giving out groceries to those in need in our community. We also give out snack packs to the homeless who live among us. But I also think about those who live in poverty of a different kind. And I'm talking about those who are poor in spirit. And I think about the young rich man who came to Jesus and said, I have followed the teachings of my faith. I have, not done wrong to anybody. I've done everything right. And he says, so what else must I do? And Jesus says to him, go sell everything you have and give it to the poor. And he went away sad. That's where the story ends. We don't know if he did actually go and do that, but recognizing that those who may be rich in assets and in teachings may not necessarily be rich in spirit is very important as we go about doing the work of the gospel in the world. We sometimes tend to discard the wealthy in things, in money, assuming that there is no hope or salvation for them. But indeed, sometimes I would like to think that those are precisely some of the people who we are directly responsible for bringing the good news to, helping them realize that the salvation that they look for in wealth and comfort is temporary. It goes away because, after all, as we always say, when you die, you can't take your money with you. We have a wonderful invitation, not only for the wealthy, but to all of God's creatures, to live into a relationship with God and our Savior Jesus Christ that gives you riches that live beyond this fragile human life. We are called to preach the gospel to the poor in material things, to the poor in health, to the poor in spirit, to all those who are also poor of hope and of possibilities. The phrase, you will always have the poor with you, yes, was said in particular in response to the disciple Judas saying that the money was wasted in that ointment. But couldn't it also be stretched further, in my own mind at least, to recognize that there are always those who are lacking something in the world? And even though we may believe that those who have financial wealth lack nothing, I ask you to consider that again. They lack many things, and money cannot buy everything. So we still have much work to do, a lot of good news to share, and a lot of possibilities for how we can continue to be true and engaged disciples of the gospel in our day, in this time. May God's grace continue to inspire you, and may God's Spirit continue to sustain you and give you the wisdom you need to be a true disciple of the gospel here and now. Blessings, St. Paul's.